Hello, everyone. This is Steve Afasi from Elite Business Insurance. I'm here to talk to you about new driver insurance, how Elite Business Insurance could help save you money and find you the best insurance carrier out there for the perfect fit for any new drivers looking to purchase insurance for the first time. Elite Business Insurance is a full-service independent agency. We're established in Tampa, Florida. We have about 13 different auto carriers, personal auto carriers in the state of Florida alone, and we have thousands of carriers throughout the country where we can find you the best coverage for the best price. Now, a new driver is usually a young driver, and getting insurance for the first time is extremely important. It's good to have insurance, and once you get it, the price is usually pretty expensive in the beginning, especially as a new driver, you're considered a higher risk. Even if you're young and you're a good driver, it doesn't matter because studies show that young drivers are more susceptible to accidents than people who are in their 30s and 50s. So basically, when you get insurance for the first time, you're going to be paying a pretty expensive rate. The best thing that I would recommend is you stay on your parents' insurance policy for as long as possible and just pay them the difference in insurance. And then what you could do is when you're ready and when you move out of your parents' house, you could take the insurance limits on your parents' policy and you could use those as prior insurance. If you're starting insurance for the first time and you don't have any coverage, it's going to be expensive. When you don't have consistent insurance, when you have no prior, the rate is much higher than if you do have consistent insurance and you do have that prior insurance. So say your parents have an insurance policy with 100, 300 coverages, which is 100,000 per person, 300,000 per accident in the case that you injure somebody due to a bodily injury claim. If you get into an accident, you're at fault, you have up to $100,000 in medical bills to the person, $300,000 per accident. So if that's what your parents have, you want to stay on your parents' policy for as long as possible so you could take those prior insurance limits of 100, 300, and you could place them on your own policy when you're good and ready. You see, a lot of times what these young drivers do or people for the first time purchasing insurance is they buy coverages with lower limits. And what it does is it puts you in a lower limits tier. And there's only certain companies that write lower limits coverages. So for instance, 1020 is one of the lowest coverages offered. That's $10,000 per person, $20,000 per accident. So if you get into an accident, you injure somebody, they get up to $10,000 in medical bills per person, $20,000 per accident. So say there's two people who you injure, they each get a maximum of $10,000. After that, your policy is spent out. You have no more money on that policy. So if you get 1020 coverage, yes, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But if you ever go to increase your coverage from 1020 to 2550, 5100, 100, 300, the price is going to be significantly more expensive than if you just transfer over your coverages with higher limits. So if your parents have 100, 300, you stay on their policy. Then when you're ready, you use their prior insurance to get 100, 300 coverage, then it opens up the market. You have very, very good companies out there, all the companies you see on TV that give you discounts for having consistent higher coverages. So you have higher coverages, and in time, it will actually be cheaper than the non-standard auto carriers who offer lower limits. So you want to have higher coverage, even if you currently have lower limit insurance. You want to take that chance and take that extra expense and raise your limits, raise your coverages up to 5,100, 100, 300, or more than that if you could afford it. Because if you carry the higher coverages for a long period of time, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to see a decrease in your rates every year upon renewal, and you'll be able to shop your policy around through more competitive carriers, more big name carriers who like and prefer people who have good driving records and good high insurance coverages. I see it all the time. I see people with higher limits paying less money than people with lower limits. So being a new driver, if your parents tell you, listen, you need to get your own insurance, you're costing me way too much money. What I recommend is you tell your parents, let me stay on your policy for as long as I possibly can. Now, if you have a bad driving record, if you're getting into accidents, then I understand. You need your own insurance. They don't want to pay for that. But if you keep yourself on their policy and you have a good driving record, you just pay them the difference, whatever it costs to keep you on the policy. And once you get older, once you turn over 21, once you get to 25 if you can, or once you move out and get your own place, then you transfer the coverages of 100, 300 or higher, or 5,100 or higher onto your own policy, use their prior insurance, and then you will save money in the long run by doing so. So drive safe, Try to keep a good driving record. Any sort of accident, any sort of insurance claim is going to raise your rate. Try to purchase a car that is financially feasible for you. If you buy an expensive sports car, it's going to be very high on the insurance price, especially if you're a young driver. But what I recommend, like I said, stay in your parents' policy, pay them the difference, keep a good, clean driving record, and then transfer coverages over to yourself with higher limits rather than lower limits. It's not that it's more expensive, it's actually going to be less expensive for you, and you get the better coverages to protect yourself and the others on the road properly. So if you need us to quote you out, we are a full-service independent agency. We shop you around through all of our markets, all AM Best A-rated insurance carriers, and we find you the best coverage for the absolute best price. So if you need some more information on your insurance, if you have any questions at all, if you want price indications across the board for higher coverages, for lower coverages, we can help you with that, and we are there for you 24/7 customer service. So give us a call when you can. 1-800-850-8819, Elite Business Insurance. We are elite.